Right. I mean, why is it scheduled just because of the breach or something? Because she had one before. I don't know. I'm not real super familiar with C-section. All 3 years or C-section. Oh. Scheduled? Scheduled, yeah. Your first one was scheduled? Eighth was breach. Oh. And Jack has just huge. And Trey was breach. Really perfect.
Hi, this is Tim with Total CSR.
Hi, Tim. It's Sarah, Dawn, and Aaron.
Hi. Thank you guys for getting on the call. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Okay. Well, let me get my screen up so you can see that.
Okay.
So there you go. Okay, so I think I'd done a demo with Dawn before. So what do I need to go over today for you guys?
I haven't seen it, but I know when we visited with Jordan, right? Jordan? Yeah. In Cincinnati, Dawn mentioned that she wanted to see a general liability demo.
Oh, okay. Sure. I'd be happy to do that. I guess since you haven't seen any of it, I can give you a little bit of background and a history. I mean, and then from there, yeah, we can. I mean, we have a couple courses out, so we'll just decide as we go what's best for you guys to see and take your questions and so forth. Okay. So yeah. So the founders of Total CSR, as it sounds like you met Jordan, one of them. So you probably know that they own a third-generation insurance agency. And so their father had sold his retail operation in '99 to Arthur J. Gallagher, and they both went to work there, and then were able to buy the business back in '08. So for the past 11 years, you know, we've been growing our agency, really been working on refining our process of hiring and training and onboarding. And so we continue to look for a solution for the practical how-to side of being a CSR and could never find it. So decided to build it ourselves. We ended up launching a year ago. We're close to 600 agencies have signed up across the country. So very happy with that. We've got 3 programs, commercial and personal lines and soft skills. We have 2 new programs coming out, starting in, we have a producer course July 1st and a benefits course December 1st. And from there, first screen to go to will be the agency page, which is, or our admin page. So this is for the agency manager or owner. We can see users enrolled, how they're progressing through the modules here. And then adding a new user is real easy. We just do first name, last name, email address, hit the enroll button. They get an automated email sent to them with login credentials, and then they can access the site and go to My CSR, which is our user side or our main education page. So here we are on the commercial tab. So here's our 7 modules of training for commercial lines. So starting out with general education, which is the basics like the core 125 certificates of insurance. And from there, we go into the 6 main lines of coverage. So you can see work comp, GL, auto, excess and umbrella, property, and inland marine. Since you guys want to go into the general liability, be happy to do that. We'll go ahead and launch this one, and you'll be able to see the course index and our formatting, etc. once it gets up. So let me move up to the top. Over here is the course index. So you'll see, and we can touch on most of these screens for you. But we start off each module with a 2-minute introductory video. And now you won't be able to hear this, you can just see it. But so this is just an overview of that line of coverage. What is it? Why do we need it? Why do we have it? That type of thing. We'll even talk about the history of insurance, commercial insurance, a little bit. Talk about a couple different claim scenarios as well. And aside from that, we're trying to make an emotional connection with the user and really the significance of the CSR role. But after that video, then we go into it's going to be a coverages overview. So you can see here we got overview. We'll go into the coverage form and review that. Right off the bat, you'll see we have flashcards, which are in all of our modules. There's a lot of insurance terms, so this is very helpful. You know, we can say what's occurrence, or what's occurrence-based policy, claims made, third-party claims, torts. And whenever we have flashcards, we always do, well, we didn't that time. We usually have a drag and drop exercise that really helps us. So I'll show you another section of our flashcards because they're all over. But anyways, from there, it's, you know, we go into the coverage form. So the GL coverage overview, the 4 different coverage parts, want to touch on each one of those, and so that we get a good feel for it and an understanding of it. After that, we'll talk about who isn't insured. So named insureds and automatic insureds, as well as the different types of entities that we can take a look at. So limits of liability we need to be aware of, the 6 limits in the GL policy, common endorsements to understand. So you'll see those, some common and additional endorsements we'll run across, some exclusions too, but that's going to be all for the coverage part. You know, it's intentionally brief, just a summary of it in the beginning so that we can go into the main focus of our training, what we call the CSR support cycle. And so we've determined as an account manager or a CSR, we need to know these 8 major steps: how to obtain the submission info, complete the accord forms, send the submission, review the quotes, present the proposal, bind the coverage, check the policy, and support the insured. So these are those kind of day-to-day processing activities of being a CSR. We'll dive into these one at a time, and then we tailor them to each module that we're in, but this cycle is in every one of our modules, just something to keep in mind. So first off, it's you know, some submission information and annual payroll figures. Here's some more flashcards, like what's class code and what's premium basis, exposure. Here's a drag and drop activity with the definitions. So it really helps us to understand, remember those terms. And then we want to talk determining the correct premium basis, et cetera. And then we've got the GL class code, so we can save that as a PDF to our desktop if we'd like to, as we're going through it, and it can be helpful when we come back and review. After that, what's the supplemental application? What types of information is on it? What does it look like? We will take a look at that. And now we're going to go to our loss run section, spend a little time here. So first off, we'll take a look at a loss run. What's it look like? What does currently valued mean? We're talking about a loss run. And then some more flashcards you can see there, specifically 17 of them about loss runs only, with their follow-up drag and drop exercise. Now is our first user tutorial. And so it's on a loss run, obviously. What we've done is taken a loss run and then generate all these green arrows on it. And then we got to click our way through it, through each of the sections. So from, you know, starting at the top, from the insured to the policy number, to the term, and the deductible, et cetera. So we work our way from top to bottom, again, just trying to get an idea of the components, all the different components of the loss run. And now we can take our first quiz. So we've got a loss runs review. It's 17 questions, analyzing different loss runs like this right here. And then we do require on our quizzes to pass with a 75% or better. It's just our focus is on learning it and not just burning through it and moving ahead. But once we pass, we'll go to our accord form section. And so to begin with, we'll jump into the Accord 126. And we're going to do another tutorial on this Accord 126, all 4 pages of it. But you can see the green arrows again, and how we navigate our way through from the agency info down to the claims made versus occurrence coverages, the other coverages, et cetera. So you get the idea how we have to click our way through. It's to familiarize ourselves and understand these forms that are going to be new to us. After we do all 4 pages, we will jump into the Accord 829, and then we go to our scenario section. So our scenario, this is a deep dive. We spend the most time. What we do in here is train the user. Sorry, I don't know. We're training the user how to complete the accord forms in this section. And I'll show you how this works. First off, we'll have an attachment that we're going to be referencing. So information that we've collected, and then we are going to be using this in our tutorial. But so we've got additional information from an insured, and then the supplemental application, and then a couple different loss runs that we're going to take a look at as well, a couple years of loss run history. We'll hit the start button to begin the scenario. It takes us into the Accord 126. The first time it'll be blank, so we complete all the fields on our own and then hit the submit button. Our goal is to get 95%. First time we won't. First time we'll get about 40 to 50%. So we'll hit the red X and it brings us back in. I had these forms completed, but they all got erased recently, so I got to go back. Just haven't had a chance yet. But you can see what it does. The system highlights those fields that are blank or incorrect so that we can then go through and get them corrected. So, for example, here I would highlight these. If I'm not sure what goes here, I hover over it. It gives me a text tip. So it's like a virtual manager helping us complete the Accord 126 and be done with it. And now that's one example. Or one scenario. We're going to do this 4 more times. Each time we're going to have different reports and information that we're accessing. So it's a ton of repetition for us as a user, real world examples, and very critical part of our training. From there, it'll be sending the submission out. What do we include in our submission and why? So we have all 4 of the documents here. And so then we get that submission out, and now we'll be waiting for quotes to come back in. And so we have some more flashcards, 10 of them specifically about quotes, then another drag and drop. Moving down, we've got a GL quote that we take a look at. So you can see we color code it, we highlight it, then we explain each section. And if there's any math involved, we'll explain that too. And then from there, we can we'll move down and we're going to take our second quiz. So it's a quotes review this time, 12 questions on that quiz, still have to pass it. When we do pass it, after we pass, we'll go to presenting our proposal. What do we include in that and why? So some time in there. Next is binding coverage. So what's the bind order? What does it look like? What attachments are in the bind order? Anything else that the carriers might require us to send them to. Also policy checking. Now, so what is policy checking and which documents are we using for policy checking? So we have those 3 documents. Our knowledge check, it's actually an exercise where we'll practice some policy checking on our own. So these 3 PDFs, and then there's some corresponding quiz questions down here for us throughout that exercise. Then now we get to our last section, supporting our insured. So the claims process, what is a claim? How do we help them with a claim, and so forth. Then final audits. And so why are final audits required? And we have some examples of the documents here on the GL final audit and what those docs might look like. Then moving down, there's, of course, types of final audits, voluntary and physical, documents necessary within a GL audit, and some audit situations that might come up and we want to review, as well as some audit mistakes. Now, the very last step, we're at the end of the module. We take a course final exam. We have questions from every section that we've covered in this module. And on the finals, we actually have to pass with a 90%. So it's a little bit higher threshold than the quizzes in order to pass. And so there you go. That's our GL module. Should give you a good feel of the format, all the activities that a user is going to go through. As far as timeline, all 7 of the modules take in total about 70 hours, give or take, depending on the speed of the user. So about 10 hours per module. And you'll see we then have follow-up training down here after that. So there's 6 weeks of follow-up training or 6 more modules. However, they're only 1 hour per week. So we really condense the information. And the idea is we reintroduce the information from the modules we've already done, but it's in much smaller chunks now. Really want to increase our retention of the material. But after that, we're done. Congratulations on finishing. We get a TCSR designation, which is our designation we issue for completing the course. We put it, and so users can put that in their signature or business card if they'd like. And the users are able to come back and review any one of the sections or modules that they'd like to, if necessary. So, so from there, we can, I mean, do you guys have any questions? Do you want me to show you the soft skills or review the personal skills?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's look at the soft skills.
Yeah, so we have 5 more e-modules, and probably for newer employees, it's like business writing, composing emails and letters, telephone etiquette, communicating on the phone properly, working with difficult customers. They're not insurance specific, but they are critical to a corporate environment. And those 5 modules are going to take about 10 to 12 hours to complete. So about 2 to 3 hours each, somewhere in that line. Does your agency do personal lines as well?
We do.
Okay. Do you want to see a brief review on that?
Sure.
Okay. So we've got, here's our modules well, I'm on the personal lines tab now. There's 8 modules total. First the intro, then homeowners, auto, dwelling, personal umbrella, personal articles, earthquake, and flood. The homeowners one here. Go ahead and launch that. We'll just real quickly take a look at the index. So again, it starts with the introduction video at the beginning. After the introduction, we always do the coverage overview. So first about 8 sections will be a coverage overview. We then always focus on the CSR support cycle and the 8 major steps, of a CSR account manager. So a little bit different in personal lines. 2 of the steps are different. The other 6 are the same. The 2 that are different are completing the comparative rater, step 2, and step 3, completing the online quoting process. We do that instead of the accord forms and submission, which we showed you in the commercial lines part. But so from there, again, we tailor all the 8 major steps of the cycle to the individual module that we're in, obviously homeowners now. And so again, beginning with obtaining submission info, homeowners quote request, we'll do a tutorial on that. The carrier website reports, take a look at the RCE report and the CLUE report and other reports like that. Then we get into the comparative rater section, which is where you can see the scenarios. Scenarios are always where we spend the most time. So 5 scenarios in total. We'll quickly show you how that one works again. It's what we're doing in the homeowner scenarios, training the user on the comparative rater, how to complete the comparative rater to get proposed quotes from homeowners carriers. And so they would use an attachment again so there's going to be 4 or 5 pages in that attachment. It hits the start button. Here's our comparative rater system simulated. We'll go to each tab, complete all of the information on each one of these tabs. When we're done, we get to submit to carriers. And again, the goal is 95% of the field's correct. We won't get that first time. So hit the red X and the system highlights for us the fields that are incorrect or that are blank so that we can go back through each tab and clean it up and get it done. So it's really, again, like a virtual manager, training us and teaching us that comparative rater system. Again, 5 modules in total, so ton of repetition, real world examples that we're going through. After that, it's the rest of the CSR cycle and same types of activities that we saw on commercial lines. So we're going to have tutorials, we're going to have more quizzes, we're going to have, talking about binding coverage. We'll have knowledge checks and exercises through all of these, down to policy checking, different parts of a policy, homeowner's policy, and what we want to be well versed in and understanding of. And then the last, supporting our insured from claims to endorsements, binders, and cancellations. The very last step is the final exam again. So every module has a final exam. Have to pass that with a 90% or better in order to move on. And so there you go. That was the homeowners one. So you have a good idea and feel for that. Other than that, I guess I would just bring you guys over to the pricing tab. I can briefly explain how our contracts, et cetera, work. And then, and you guys were at a recent conference, was that right?
Yeah, we went to NetView.
Which one? At the NetView conference? Okay. Yep. Great, good to know. Did they mention anything about a discount at the conference? Because we usually.
They did, yeah.
Okay. Was it sorry, I forget the NetView one, how much it is. There's been a couple of them lately. I'll just help you with and I'll find out. I can send a follow-up email. It's probably 15 or 20%, somewhere around there. So my point being, this is our retail pricing that you're looking at. This is the bundle package, commercial and personal lines. You get to take the 15-20% off the retail price. That's for one user, one active account, makes one admin, and 3 users. What that means is no more than 3 at a time can be going through the training on that. And then
clarified that.
Sure. And then the soft skills are included. So one other incentive with the bundle package, if you buy it, you get the 2 courses for free. You get the producer course launching July 1st and the benefits course launching December 1st. So those are just included in this price that you pay. And then this is the premieres for large if you need 10 users. Custom is so a proposal. If you have 5 or more locations as an agency, then we send you a customized proposal based on your number of locations and users, et cetera. And but so from this point, just any other questions you have, and or anything else to see?
I don't think so. No. If you just want to figure out what that pricing would be, obviously we wouldn't need 3 active users, so that would be the package we'd probably be looking at. So.
Sure, you bet. Yeah, I'll be happy to follow up with you. So I know I have Don's email. I probably have yours, Sarah. But let's just say if we're taking 20% off, I'll do that because that's what it was times 0.8. So it would be 2,800 is what the price would be. With 20% off here, yes, it's a 12-month contract, right, per year, 2,800 to get the bundle package, which will be 5 courses in total. Okay. So all right, nothing else,
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being on the call. I'll shoot you a follow-up email just to confirm that the NetView conference, and then we can go from there if you guys need to move forward.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.